Welcome back into the Viking Central podcast. We're just going to talk some speculation today. Obviously, the Vikings made that big deal to get the 23rd pick in the 2024 NFL draft, giving up some capital this year and next year, second round pick. So Quincy is being aggressive. He obviously has a plan, obviously has something on his mind, and he's trying to, make it happen. So a lot of the speculation is like, would Kwesi in this front office, would the Vikings make this move if they already didn't have a deal figured out with the team in the top five? I know there's been speculation about the Cardinals already. Like, is there a handshake deal with Monty Osifort with the Cardinals at pick number 4? That doesn't really guarantee you Jaden Daniels or Drake May. And Drake May has been the guy that everyone says the Vikings are in love with. Now, that does not guarantee you Drake May, because the Patriots are at pick number 3. They need a quarterback. Someone could jump you. Say it's the Giants. Say they want Drake May. They could jump you pretty easily if you're in the 4 spot, if New England is willing to move out of the 3. But I think the 3rd pick is really intriguing. I know the talk has been surrounded that New England is looking forward to selecting their franchise quarterback in April's draft. But that could be smoke screens too. That could honestly be them just saying that to build, maybe that's how they expect to get more capital. We don't really want to move out of the spot 3. We want to select the quarterback. Well, I'll give you an extra second round pick if you get out of there. And they're like, okay, yeah, we'll do that. We were never really going to go for our franchise quarterback anyway. We wanted to trade out of this spot. And now it's really a lot more intriguing that Minnesota has the number 11 and the number 23. And, maybe as a sweetener, they might have to throw in a future first round pick, but they definitely, will offer a deal without that 2025 first round pick. But if it takes that 11, 23 and a future first to get there, you really got to be in love with Drake May if that's who you're really going for. If you think he's going to be there at number 3 and that Caleb Williams is number 1 and, Jaden Daniels is a for sure thing at number 2. Now, would Minnesota make this trade this early? 41 days. It was 41 days before the draft. Would they really make this trade just out of the blue if they didn't have a plan in place already? Like, okay, well, they want the number 23 pick because maybe they'll take a quarterback, maybe they'll take a Bo Nix, maybe they'll take a Michael Penix Jr. towards the back end of the first round. Okay, would it not make sense for them to see how the board plays out on draft night? They can always move in back into the first round. They can always do that. I don't think Kwesi's just giving up a future second round pick and pick number 42 just for the heck of it because they think the board is going to fall a certain way a month and a half before the draft. That doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Now, I think Kwesi is very calculated. He's got that analytical mind. He's got a plan, and I think he's not doing this without being very, very calculated. So I think they have at least a handshake deal, or if it's not going to be announced here, and I've been talking about that, it might not be announced here tomorrow, but it could be within this next week. It's going to be announced that they traded up to number 3 and number 4 and possibly number 2. Do want to shout out my sponsor real quick. That's Badass Wood Art. Use code VC15 at checkout for 15% off your order. You see their logo in the left-hand corner up there. They do an amazing job. Luis does an amazing job. Custom wood art pieces, Minnesota Vikings, Minnesota sports, pop culture, custom family portraits, you name it, he does it. Check him out over on Twitter, Facebook, or on his website. He is an incredible guy, incredible business. So again, sponsored by That's Badass Wood Art. Use VC15 at checkout for 15% off. Now, so Drake May, that's the big thing. If it's Drake May and you want Drake May, obviously you want to get all the way to number 2 and make sure Washington doesn't want Drake May. But if you're confident that Jaden Daniels is the pick and Drake May is your target, you can go to number 3. Now, if Jaden Daniels is your target, you want to try to get number 2. You really want to try to get number 2 unless you think Washington's taking Drake May and you're comfortable at number 3. Now, if J.J. McCarthy's the option, you can probably go get number 4 with the Cardinals, as I think he will be there. I think that's kind of a rich deal to go all the way up for J.J. McCarthy. But if that's your guy, you got to go get him. I know a lot of people think that's an overpay. I know the Giants have said they're in love with J.J. McCarthy. then you got to jump over number 6 because that's where the Giants are selecting. So if you really want McCarthy, you got to jump the Giants. Um, Now, I personally won't jump that far for JJ McCarthy, giving up the farm to go get him, where I think he's probably a mid to late first round draft pick in most drafts, or maybe even the first half of the second. Um, but in this draft, a lot of quarterback needy teams. This is a very, you know, talent heavy draft, especially in the quarterback position. So you're gonna have to move up for sure in the top 6, top 8 picks to get one of those first 4 quarterbacks. So you got to do what you got to do. If you're building your franchise and you really want the franchise quarterback, and Kevin O'Connell says this is his guy, you go get him. Now, I think it is between Drake May and JJ McCarthy, but in my opinion, they have a handshake deal with someone. If it is the Patriots, it's Drake May. If it is the Cardinals, it's JJ McCarthy, in my opinion. Um, It just that one slot makes a ton of difference. And I know there's been rumors that JJ's jumping Drake May, and I think that's not true in my opinion. Drake May is quite a bit better of a prospect in my opinion. He's got that potential to be a superstar in my opinion, where JJ McCarthy, he has the potential to be a franchise quarterback, but I think his ceiling is a little bit lower than Drake May's. But his floor might be a little bit higher than Drake May's as well. Like Drake May could be like a Daniel Jones if the situation's not right. But like Colin Cowherd says, like Minnesota, come to Minnesota, the second best quarterback at least behind Caleb Williams, because he can go anywhere and be a superstar probably. Where I think Chicago might have a chance to mess him up, but they're surrounding some good weapons for Williams in Chicago. He trusts Kevin O'Connell to get his hands on pretty much anyone and making it work, turning him into a franchise quarterback, turning him into a playmaker, turning him into an elite level signal caller. And for the sake of the Vikings, you couldn't ask for anything better. Now, who you guys think they want to go get? You think they're going to for sure trade up into the top 5? Drake May, JJ McCarthy, maybe sneak in for Jade McDaniels? Or do you think that's calculated? They wanted to get a higher pick, get number 23. You get 2 high-level players at 11 and 23. I just don't understand why they do it this early in the process. But, we'll see. Only time's going to tell. Guys, thanks for tuning in. Skull, baby. God bless.